Welcome, Cancer, to the Southern Oracles Tarot. I'm the Childlike Empress.
And I'm the Orange.
This reading is a series we're doing in honor of Gemini season. It is both the dark and the light. The purpose of this reading is if you're on a journey and you're trying to discover some of the attributes that you need to work on. We have the dark side over here, shadow side, and then we have...
Or your lowest vibration.
Yes, so
your
something
lowest
that you
self,
need
yeah.
to work on. And then on this side we have your highest incarnation, which would be things you need to strive for. Natural talents within yourself that you want to cultivate and work on, to make them more strong or stronger, or what have you. Anything more strong is good English.
Few disclaimers before we get started. We will not be mentioning signs because this is about you, Cancer.
Yep.
And only about you.
Right. Not people watching for you. This is about you. And there's so few readings lately that you can have that are just for you and don't, belong to everyone else. This is for you, especially if you, again, are a Cancer who's trying to improve their life and improve negative qualities that they may not like in themselves. Or when somebody says, if you're on, say, a twin flame journey or something, and they're like, well, you have to work on yourself and you got to, do the work. What is the work?
Right.
This is what we're talking about here.
We're telling you what the work is.
Right. The things, the shadow side that you need to work on, and also the positive things that you need to work on as well. So,
right. Also, I wanted to say that we are shooting outside.
Yep.
On this beautiful night.
Yep.
You can see. And so we can't control the noise.
Yeah,
not that we ever could, but definitely not right now.
I was saying, just somehow it's quieter than our house. Both of our houses combined, so we'll figure on that one. So the way that the dark side is going to, we're going to kind of assess...
one more thing.
Yeah.
This is about being triggered and being defensive.
Yeah, so disclaimer.
This is not a sign bashing thing. We're not here to be like, Cancer's horrible, and they have all these horrible things about them. This is not what this is. This is to see what in this can trigger you.
Yeah.
Try not to be defensive.
Right.
Okay? So this is just if you are triggered by this is what you need to work on.
Right.
That's what the work is that everybody keeps referring to. So it's finding what triggers you so you can heal those wounds.
Right.
And to be your higher self.
Right, and also once you figure out what triggers you and what you need to work on, it doesn't trigger you anymore.
Right.
So it's to your benefit to find out what your weaknesses are so that you can fortify yourself and get rid of them so that they're not get rid of them, but control them. Because this is things that you've dealt with since childhood. You have to work on them. But to control them so that you're able to better handle it so it doesn't take over other aspects of your life, because if you don't fix that, then it takes over other things that you're doing, and then you're not able to succeed to be your best self, basically.
Right. So this is... Okay. So that's basically it.
What we're going to do is we're going to pull at some qualities that you have that you need to work on. To start
not your
with.
finest qualities.
Right. You're not so great qualities. And then on the other side, we're going to do the same. We're going to do some of your finer qualities.
Right.
Then we're going to talk about what the motivations may have been for those qualities to come about. And then the last thing we're going to do is some advice that you can work on or work with. Some ways the universe is helping you to work with or against those energies, or to help tamper them in some way, or to enhance them. Okay?
So I want to say that we have discovered that this is not about good or evil or good or bad or light and dark. It's really not.
Right.
We find that the same qualities that you have on your shadow side is the same qualities you have on your light side.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just the way you choose to use it.
Yes.
Is what makes it higher or lower.
And the instances...
This is really about higher and lower, not good and bad and all that.
And the instances that you choose, instances are, I guess the environments have a lot to do with why you choose to use your qualities in a negative way or a positive way. And so that's what I'm saying. You start learning what triggers you have, you'll be less likely, to use them in, say, your lowest vibrational form. You'll be more able to harness them and say, hey, you know what? I can use this for this way, and this can be its highest good. That's the point I think we're trying to make.
Right. Okay.
So
let's get started.
Okay, so Cancer, what we found for you, your cornerstone, which is the card that's always at the top left, right?
And I know the lighting is bad, so I'm just going to go ahead and read them off.
Yep.
Your first, that doesn't help a bit. Anyways, the first card is the Five of Wands, the Ten of Pentacles, the Death card.
Yeah.
You have the Three of Swords. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The King of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, the Six of Cups, the Two of Wands, and the Knight of Cups.
So she's director,
And your
I'm
overall
lighting.
energy is
Okay.
the Two of Cups.
Yeah. So your cornerstone is the Five of Wands over there in the corner,
That's
top
perfect.
left. And literally, it self-sabotage. That's what we got from this reading. There's a few things that you do to sabotage.
Well, more like, self-sabotage, right?
Mhm.
And then, go on. It just occurred to me and then
Go
I
ahead.
lost it. No, I
Well,
lost it.
Self-sabotage seems to be when
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice, right.
Self-sacrifice. There we go.
Right, which happens to be your self-sacrificing is a form of self-sabotage.
Right.
That's what we're seeing here. Okay, so with the Five of Wands next to the Ten of Pentacles and the Death card, it's almost like whenever there's some type of conflict that arises or other people's interests come in to some type of problem, right, in whatever relationships that you're dealing with, you will cut out or end you'll stop what you need. You'll end what you need. You'll be like, you know what? I'm just going to dead this in order for, with the Ten of Pentacles in the middle, for the
Not
stability.
dead to the relationship.
No.
This is how you feel about
Right.
something.
So let's just say that you're conflicted about the way something is going. In the interest of stability and peace, right? With the Ten of Pentacles, which is like family, friends. So that is big for you. You will end the conflict. Thinking that you're making peace in some way, but what you're really doing is self-sabotaging. What you're doing is you're just allowing,
Hurting yourself.
you're hurting yourself with the Three of Swords underneath that Five of Wands. I think that this is a habit that you learned in childhood. And I gotta say, there's two sides that we saw to this. There are some Cancers that we saw who are pacifiers, okay? I'm just gonna think you're pacifiers. You will end any conflict. You will make sure that everything is peaceful, even if it's to the detriment of your own heart space.
Yeah.
And then there are those who self-sabotage when they are in commitments, and we'll talk about that second group in a second, okay?
So the
both
first
of them,
group, yeah.
the first group is the pacifiers. That's what we're going to call you.
And you will sacrifice your own needs. They're the self-sacrifices.
Yes.
So you will sacrifice your own needs and your own self-care to take care of everybody else.
Yes. Yes.
Or, just to pacify. If there's a conflict arises, you're just like, let me set my
Right.
feelings aside and take care of this other person's
Right.
needs.
Right.
And what's end up happening is you're breaking your own heart here.
Right. And it's a pattern that you've learned in childhood. You've learned anxiety. You've learned that conflict causes problems. Conflict causes pain. Conflict causes separation.
Yeah.
And so what you do is you will allow people to take precedence. Their
Or
wants,
to
their
mistreat
needs.
you.
Right.
To walk all over you.
In order to avoid conflict.
Right.
That's the pacifiers, okay? We're going to finish the pacifier story, and then we're going to go on to the other group, okay? So you have, this is your headspace, what you're motivated by. I think that with the pacifiers, you see this person central. I don't think that King of Pentacles energy is you. I think that's whoever you focus your energies around.
Right. So you put your attention to
Yes.
towards your love and your energy and that sort of
Right.
thing.
All your focus is on that person. And so this is you on
And
the
whether
outside.
it be lovers, family members,
Right.
friends, it doesn't matter. It's just another person. It's an outward extension of
Right.
this love.
It's more than likely a family member or a relationship, only because you got the Ten of Pentacles above their head. So it has something to do with your stability. So you will sacrifice your own well-being for the interest, in the interest of stability. Even if there's pain, strife, or whatever kind of problems going on and conflicts, you're going to worry about making sure that whoever you feel is creating that stability is happy and not yourself.
So, right. At your own detriment, at your own expense.
Yes. So she's got the dog at the bottom, the Queen of Pentacles. If you notice, this is something that we did notice. With the King of Pentacles, he's got a pentacle in his arm. He's got a bag of money. He's got a whole bunch of wealth around his feet. He's got people surrounding him. That tells me that the person that you're around,
Or whoever this person is, it's not a specific person.
no.
He's
And
just some
we're-
amalgam of people.
Right. Who is priority. That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
That you prioritize above yourself.
Yes, that's what it's saying. For yourself, though, if you notice, she's got this one interest. They have many interests.
Right.
Whether they do many things or you feel like they're an important person, that's an image that's coming across. Whereas with you, you have this one interest, okay? And whatever that is, you are solely focused on it. If you look at her, she looks a little bit less confident.
Yeah.
She looks very lonely because her only focus is that one interest. And so that's again giving us that emphasis that
And
you
this could
have,
also be on your children too. I don't know why, just the way she's cradling it.
and also
but it
because
doesn't matter.
She's
It doesn't
nurturing
matter.
pets, so it's
Yes.
something that's diminutive. She's making sure to nurture them, and especially with this anxiety and the lovers, you have to sum it all up. For your pacifiers, you have codependency.
Right.
Okay, that's the word for what it is that you're dealing with here. You will put your own needs aside to make everybody happy, and you don't find happiness outside of relationships. And honestly, we're going to jump to group 2 because I don't want to give the advice yet.
Right.
The second group of you, the runners, okay? You sabotage every
Saboteurs.
relation. You're the saboteurs. You sabotage with the 5 of Wands, the 10 of Pentacles, and the Death card, every relationship that you're in. Anytime that you get close to somebody, or things get too stable or too commitment minded, you will sabotage it. Commitment seems to be the issue, especially with the 3 of Swords next to it. So whenever somebody wants commitment from you, you will sabotage it.
Even if it's perceived that this person is perfect for you, if you see they're nice looking, they're a couple.
Right. Especially if this is somebody that you feel like you could be in a long-term commitment with, you will sabotage it. And the reason why, and again, it's back to childhood. With the last group, they learned that pain came through conflict. You learned the same thing. I think that you learned that either you saw parents or mentors or people who are older than you, let's just say people who loved you, parents, grandparents, whatever. You saw them creating conflicts that caused heartbreak, and so you're repeating those patterns now. The past is very well tied into why you won't stay in a stable commitment.
Now, it could also be that you have a tendency to romanticize the past, that there is there's a time period that nothing else can compare to.
Yes. Yeah.
So as you can see, he's sort of looking towards the past here.
Yes.
He's always got one foot in the past.
Right.
Always.
Right.
So he's lamenting. So it doesn't matter like who you meet, Mr. Right over here. He's not as good as someone else that you met.
Right.
You know, your first boyfriend or your first husband,
right,
or whatever.
Right. Somebody who could possibly have died. We're not going. This is for some reason your reading is not so much relationship centric. It just has to do with codependency. So in that way, relationships come through. But it's not. This is about you. You are afraid of. I guess with the anxiety card, the 9 of Swords, and the Lovers, your happiness is always tied to people. So in this case with the Saboteur, even though your happiness is tied to people, that person may be from the past, but it's also getting new, fresh energy from the people that you encounter.
But if you see with the Knight, there's a likeness with the Knight.
Yes.
It's not a commitment. It's not a Pentacle card, nor is it a King of Cups.
Right.
It's just somebody you're like, you meet people and you want to have more of a casual thing, and when things start to become committed, that's when you cut and run.
Yes.
Also, I want to say with this Two of Wands card and this here, you can see this right here. It's like it's like you're suffering from either some kind of depression. It's depression and anxiety. It's like you travel between depression and anxiety.
Okay.
And I want to say something that I heard a while back, where they say if you suffer from depression, you tend to live in the past.
Yes.
And if you live in the future, you tend to suffer from anxiety.
Yeah.
And I think you're like caught in the middle of that, you see?
Right.
It's like the past has a glow to you.
Yeah.
But it's also slightly depressing because nothing could ever
compare
to that. And whereas the future, it holds promise, because we see this thing.
Exactly.
But your anxiety is that it will never it will never measure up.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like you're caught between this anxiety for the future and this depression and this sadness for the past.
Which mirrors that Lovers with that 2 energy, that choice energy. It's like you want to be loved.
And you want to love, too.
And you want to love. But because you make romanticize the past, or even past relationships with people like these older people, I keep seeing them standing there. It could have been your parents, and you could just be like, nobody's ever going to have a relationship. Relationships aren't even like that. Relationships aren't even built like that anymore, type of deal. These are patterns that keep you stuck, okay? He's very firmly with his body turned towards the past, even though his hand is turned towards the future, and he does want what the future has to offer. So that's something that you're doing, romanticizing the past and thinking that you have to behave in some type of set way of thinking or behaving when it comes to relationships, because this could be all relationships. This could even be when you're friends with people. You're not allowing anybody to get close to you, but
Yeah,
you
in any
need
real
to be, but
way,
you
yeah.
need, but in some way, you need to be close to people in order to feel secure. That's basically
You also
what it is.
might be, just heads up, you might be picking people that remind you of somebody from the past.
Yes.
So it's like you're dating the same guy over and over again, and you don't get close because you're like, I know this guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, he has a problem with this, and he has a problem with that,
Right.
and he's not a,
You're
whatever. You
attract-
know, it's
right.
like you know, you've been down that road.
Right. And you're
Before.
attracting the similar
Similar
people
people,
because you
right.
have patterns from your past. You saw conflicts. You saw that people in your lives dealt with conflicts in certain relationships a certain way, and you keep bringing that back over and over. You keep choosing to bring people that remind you of your past in a negative way. These aren't, not that they're bad people, but they remind you of past patterns.
Right.
Because that's where you're comfortable. That's where you feel safe, even if it's not good for you. Even if you know that that's not the right
Right. So it's more like the devil you know versus the devil
you don't know. So you might know an alcoholic, per se. We're just throwing it out there. I don't see any alcoholism cards. Maybe the Knight of Cups, maybe not. Maybe somebody who likes to party and doesn't commit. And you are attracted to that person. You keep bringing that person in as a partner for you.
knowing that they like to party and don't want to
Right.
commit.
And this can be for the pacifiers as well as the saboteurs.
Right.
You're both doing the same thing. You're attracting and bringing things in your life that repeat a certain mindset and a certain pattern. But the pacifiers are simply avoiding conflict by going along. And the saboteurs are, in a sense, choosing things that will create that conflict so that they don't have to stay committed with whatever relationships it is. Even as friendships, you might pick the person apart. Oh, my best friend when I was 2 or when I was 5 was like or when I was 10, when I lived in Lindenberg was like my
Yeah,
best
she
friend
had
in the whole
brown
world.
hair and she was a
Right.
thief.
Right.
And
And
now
every
you're
girl you've
yeah,
met since
just
then
a-
has been a thief. You understand what I mean?
That had brown hair and
I
just been a
can't
thief.
find friends. You know what I mean? You create this cycle over and over and over again for you. Nobody will ever be good enough, or nobody will ever be good.
Right.
Right. It can be both. Just basically your nostalgia, your desire for illusion, because you did get that come up on this side. It's the same thing. You keep creating this illusion in your mind that something is better than what it is, or worse than
Right.
what it is. Okay? And
So
by
what-
doing that, you sabotage yourself. They're asking you for advice, whether you're the saboteur or the pacifist.
I think they're asking you to cut off the past.
Yes. Because
Personally.
this Knight of Cups is a cornerstone of your future. That's
Yes.
a cornerstone of your past. And he's saying for you to turn your head like this way. He's turned his back to focusing on the past and even past negative cycles that your parents might have taught you or past behaviors.
So if you're a self sacrificer, it's saying choose you.
Yes, because the Queen of Pentacles is right
Yeah.
above it.
Choose you.
Yes.
That's your cup. Also, I want to say that it has an element of adventure
Yes.
to your future that I really really like.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's coming across to me as like
Yeah,
having
your
an
light side
adventure.
is your
Yeah.
lighter side is really sweet, and I think that your desire to please people, just so that people won't fight, or so even breaking up with people because you want to avoid conflict, because you feel like stability brings, like commitment brings conflict. See, love, commitment, and then conflict. This is your headspace. Okay, up
Right.
here. So maybe for the saboteur, one of the reasons why you don't commit is because you feel from what you've learned in the past that love, being with somebody, and once you get committed, this part's fine, but once you get committed, it creates a conflict with that Five of Wands.
And it's
Stability,
gonna be
relationships.
internal
Yes.
or external.
These are definitely internal dialogues. So I think they're saying to you is you need to stop, because the Death card is here. You're gonna have to change your viewpoint. That's the first thing. With the Death card and then the Queen of, maybe even change your focus.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
change your
Yeah,
focus.
that's what I'm saying. It should the focus should be on you.
Yes.
Obviously, I mean, I know everybody
And
says
doing things that you
but
love
it's
to do.
doing stuff that you love to
Yeah.
do. It's with these two cards. It's telling me it's like feel the fear. Oh, I can't see it.
Let me try it. Better?
Feel the fear. Yep,
Mhm.
and do it anyway.
Yep. That's definitely what they're saying to you. You guys have to, even if you're afraid and think these types of things cause you anxiety, try it anyway. But I think it's more towards your own
Right.
growth and nurturing and development. Now, for your light side,
Yeah.
it's still the same energy. Somebody
Right.
who wants to
be in a union, be in a relationship, but it's not a person who's codependent.
When it's about somebody who wants to give love to,
Yeah.
with
Mhm.
and this being your cornerstone, but I think that they're asking you to give it to yourself, somewhat with the new beginning card.
Or to at least, oh, I'm sorry,
No.
but to at least diversify.
Yes.
Not to put all your eggs into one basket.
Yes. So you, instead of giving your all to this central person, this King of Pentacles, and making sure his needs are met, I think what they're asking you to do is I still say give it to yourself, but not all of it doesn't have to be to everyone else to appease them. I think they're saying is with the new beginning, the conflict, and the gratitude. The Nine of Pentacles is the single person's card, so I don't think they're necessarily asking you to be single.
Well, independent.
Right, the independent woman's
person,
card. That's
yeah.
right. She doesn't have to be single. Perfect. You're right. She's a diminutive Queen of Pentacles, so you keep getting that energy over and over again. You need to be more independent. Challenge yourself with the new beginning, the Fool card, and the conflict. Challenge yourself in ways that help you to become more independent. I think that's what they're asking you to do. Because one of your great qualities is that you're not afraid of a challenge, really.
Right.
You're not. You just are so busy taking on other people's challenges that you're not nurturing yourself. And that's hindering your growth. The options with your heart space, because this is kind of like your motivation, options, stability, practicality, it's going to make you a stronger and more confident person.
Right, even to diversify, even if you say take care of animals,
Right.
and this one is about your dreams,
Right.
and this is about, your love and whatever, and going on for some people I see somebody going on a trip.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's not, it really has nothing to do with it, but I do see somebody going on a trip and you may have a fear of water.
I have the best example. If you guys have ever watched Shameless, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, so there was a character Joan Cusack played on Shameless.
Oh,
named
yeah,
Sheila.
yeah. Uh-huh.
And she had agoraphobia, where she was
Yeah.
afraid to go outside because she was always afraid of whatever bad things were happening. So she wrote down a chart, and she literally every day she wrote a map of the neighborhood.
Right.
She would take a couple steps more. Every day she would time out how many steps it would take for her to
Yeah.
get to here or
Uh-huh.
there, until she was able to get from one point to
another,
their
the
house,
bar,
to the
yeah.
to
To the
the
bar.
to the bar. Oh yeah, to
Yeah.
Frank, because he was the catalyst.
right.
So think of it that way. I think with options, stability, practicality, these new beginning, conflict, and gratitude, they want you to challenge yourself to become more independent. So if you have to make some type of game plan, like by 3 months from now, I'm going to be able to dance in front of people, or maybe like you used to sing. These are your own inner talents.
Right.
I'm going to go and do karaoke in front of a room full of strangers or whatever. That's what they're asking you
Yeah,
to
because
do.
it's certain things that you've
Mhm.
that you've maybe have keeping hidden or kept down for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming
To
coming
the,
up
yes,
to the surface
yes,
again.
they want you
yeah.
to bring those things that have been hidden up to the surface so that you can become more confident.
And that
Your
could
own
be
inner
feelings.
talents.
That
Yeah.
could be feelings as well. If you're the person over here who squashed your feelings, let it out.
Yes.
Let
I
your
w-
feelings out.
I want to
Yeah.
go back to a point I made earlier with the King of Pentacles. Remember we talked about all the different things that he has surrounding him? This person not only has a myriad of talents, but he has a myriad of things that he's doing. Whereas she only has that one thing. That's what the contrast is. Here, because this person has so many things, you're just adding to all the things that they need to do.
Already have.
They're right. You're adding to what they already have. They have all these different things that they're doing, and here you are worried about what they're doing. I think that they're saying here why they want the Nine of Pentacles here in the corner is because they want you to not worry about what they're doing. Cultivate your own with options here as the 2 of Pentacles. Cultivate your own things to do, your own options, your own strength. Because this is the strength card, even though stability, that is what's going to give you the confidence and power that you need in order to move forward. So cultivate your desire to maybe grow your desire to nurture something, but in this case, it has to be your own talents. It has to be
Right.
your own.
And again, that doesn't exclude relationships because you
No.
can meet people singing.
Yes.
You can meet different people going out dancing and doing your artwork and writing your book or
Right.
whatever it
Right.
is that you're doing,
That-
volunteering.
Right.
That way, because this is relationship or, people centered here.
Right.
There's other ways to meet people. Sitting at home is not going to get you meeting anyone.
Right. So with that person with all the
It
different
doesn't make
talents,
you happy, and it doesn't.
they've
have
got
you
their
meeting-
friends waiting on them, and they've
Right.
got their, money. And meanwhile, what you have is a dog at your feet, and this dog is stopping you from getting up and actually doing. This is your loyalty. The dog is not real in a sense. This represents to me, when I see it, your loyalty to the situation and your focus on this person.
It's a metaphor.
Right, it's a metaphor. It's metaphorical to show your loyalty. And so that loyalty to this focus on what this person wants, needs, and desires is stopping you from getting up and taking care of your own needs. Even though you think that it's a good thing, this is actually a shadow quality that you have.
Right. And this
Especially
dog
if you are the
may not
pacifist.
be loyal to you, may be loyal to this person.
That's right. Your
Because
loyalty is not to yourself.
it's keeping you from doing anything.
For you, exactly. It's at your feet, stopping you from moving. That's what I see for this particular spread. Not always, but definitely here. So the last thing that we have is travel, restriction, illusion. Okay? That's your advice. I think that they're saying don't stop dreaming, because the moon, we're going to do something real quick we don't do. We're going to do something that we do. We actually go on a rant. Okay, here we go. The sun is not the be-all and end-all of the tarot. We do understand, if you know anything about tarot, that the sun represents the phallic symbol and the
It's the most positive.
And yeah, the male. And so they say things like it's the most positive card.
I mean,
in
it
the
is
deck.
the most positive, but that doesn't mean it's always read in a good way, just because it's positive.
Well, can be one of the most positive cards in the deck, but if I get the sun next to the devil, I'm not reading it as a positive card. I'm reading it as obsession. I'm reading it as somebody who's obsessive or stalking or something like that. I'm just saying that's how I would see it, because it's intensity. Remember that. That's the masculine. That's the yang. Now, the moon. We're here with the feminine. And the feminine is usually depicted as dark and secretive. And what really we're getting here is, even with it being next to the Eight of Swords and the travel card, I think they're asking you to bring that up. Bring these good things up to the light, but in a way that's gentle. There's a gentleness to the yin energy that I'm feeling with this particular, right, with the feminine energy. It's a nurturing, it's a growth, it's a methodic, in the sense like seasonal, where the seasons come and they go in time. So nurture
Phases,
in phases, right, in seasons. So it's like nurture yourself in small ways so that you can grow to be this practical person. You don't have to do everything all at once.
Also, the moon is tied to
Dreams.
the tide, the ebbs and the flows.
Right.
And yes, there are points where this person, you may be wrapped up in this person,
Right.
but there's also got to be times for you.
Right. And
You
it's
know.
also dreams. And
Well,
they
not
don't-
this person, any person.
right. Where the sun might be aspirations, the moon is actual dreams. These are things that
Right.
you have dreamed about. Your
You can't go for
hopes.
something if you haven't dreamt it first.
That's right. And so that's what I think when they're saying is, don't be afraid to go after your dreams. I think that's what they're asking you, slowly, gently, little at a time. Because again, I still get that image of Sheila walking out from, Shameless, walking out, taking one step at a time. That's
And
what
I
I'm
love that it
saying.
ends on your energy, and I don't read energies, but both of these,
Right. Ends with your water energy.
ends with
Ebbs
that.
and flows in ways that are comfortable for you, in seasons, but also one step at a time.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, you do the sun energy where it's like, oh, I'm just going to go out
All
there
or
and
nothing.
throw all or nothing. Right. It's the moon energy where it's, the phases and the seasons and the cycles
yeah,
and
and
your
it's-
time.
Yeah,
in
and
its
and
time.
and it causes you to be gentle with yourself.
Yes.
Don't be like, critical, overly critical,
Right.
and negative. Like, oh man, I'm codependent. Well, we all are or were at one point.
Right.
And you can like, well, I'll do this one thing by myself. I'll go to the movies on
Right.
Fridays by myself.
To teach you to be interdependent.
Right.
You don't have to be codependency is the lower scale of your
Right.
your
and
ability to nurture.
interdependency is your highest.
Yes.
And I like that.
And also just being able
because
to nurture yourself and have your own
relationship
interests.
is what cancers are.
Yes.
That's the house.
But be yourself. Right. We don't want you to not be yourself. We just want you to be able to be the highest incarnation
Be
of yourself.
yourself and stand alone.
Yes.
And to be yourself in a relationship and to be yourself
Out of a
outside
relationship. So you're a nurturer naturally. So instead of nurturing and putting all your nurturing into a person, you can take that and put it into both the person and into your own interests.
Right.
And that in a way will create the type of relationship that you want. You won't have to have anxiety. You can have an interdependent relationship where you're both
Right.
happy with your relationship and yourself.
happy outside of the
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah. So that's the information that we have for you guys. For now,
And if it resonated, please like
share.
and subscribe. And we'll
and-
see you next time.
Yep. Take care, guys.
Bye.